Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Wave 2 Adam Warlock figure. This is another one that people have wanted for a very long time, and for the most part it doesn't disappoint, despite the fact that it's a fairly basic figure. It has almost no sculpt work on it. They did a pretty good job, and there are some pretty cool aspects about it, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 16.5 centimeters, which is going to make him right around 6.5 inches. And as you can see, he reuses pretty much all the same parts that we've seen about a billion times. Luckily, they're good parts and they suit the character, so I can't really complain about that. We do have this nice new belt piece, which is sculpted well and painted well enough, so it's cool. And then the paint job, surprisingly enough, it's clean. Most of the time they have trouble with line work for stuff like this. Most of it is definitely satisfactory. If you look at the chest, the little lightning bolt pattern is very clean with no real issues. This shoulder's okay. This forearm's probably good enough. And then on this side, the forearm's good, but this shoulder's really not that great. But mostly it's clean enough, and I'll give it to them. And then where they did do the paintwork from the red molded to the red painted, it's not the same. This is a little glossier, it's a little more saturated, but it's close enough that I'm going to give it to him. I think it looks pretty good. It actually stands out more that the painted black is more flat than the molded black, which is kind of unusual, but that's the way it goes. We do have this new head sculpt, which is a unique enough look. I think it looks okay. It looks pretty good. The hair is done well. And then the paintwork. They did a pretty good job for the paintwork on the face, and the hair has some really nice shading in it, so I like that. I think it looks pretty cool. And speaking of his head, we do have one alternate head with the purple skin and some really cool paintwork for the face, and then some really cool paintwork for the hair. Very happy with both head sculpts and paint jobs on the heads. And then we mustn't forget, we have these really fantastic, super incredibly unique bubble effects for his super bath time bubble power, which is just fantastic. As far as the articulation goes, I really don't need to go over this one. We've done this probably 50 times by now, but I'm going to do it real quick anyway for you. The head can lean all the way back, can lean all the way forward, full side to side. The shoulder can go up horizontally. Feels like they might have made a new mold by now for the same mold, but they actually make a new mold of the same thing so that it can get reused. There's also something to comment about in the hip, so we'll see. But the shoulder seems a little bit more limited than I remember. I don't know, it's almost all the way out to the side though. Full rotation is there, bicep swivels no problem. Double jointed elbow works just fine. We have a wrist swivel and a hinge for his open hand, which is okay, though very reminiscent of a Spider-Man hand. Don't want to say for sure because I don't have one to check, but it looks just like a Spider-Man hand. Then for the fist side, we have the same articulation, so really nothing to say there. The ab crunch goes back one notch and forward one notch. Doesn't want to go anymore, but there's actually kind of like smaller notches in between. If you're really careful, you can probably have him sit like that, so that's okay. Waist twist works just fine. Floating belt doesn't get in the way. Hips are incredibly stiff, and that's why I'm thinking they might have made new molds for some of these parts. Even though they're reusing them, sometimes molds wear out depending on how many times you've milked that certain mold, which is fine. I mean, that's normal. So making a new mold is good. We have nice snug hips, no looseness there. Leg goes all the way forward. We've seen all this before. He's got really nice posability. Out to the side, not quite as much. Thigh swivel works okay. Double jointed knees, no problem at all. Shin swivel works just fine. And then we have our ankle hinge, which gives you pretty good range forward and back. And we have the ankle rocker. I still hate the fact that these boots have wrinkles all over them, texture all over them, and they always put them on figures with no texture on the legs at all. It just looks bad. They could have just made new boots by now. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. It's kind of annoying, but it's just his feet, so it's not super problematic. I have to say, for being pretty much a repaint, I really like the way this guy looks, and the head sculpts are so nice that I like this one. For being a very basic figure, it does have the right composition to be impressive. So Hasbro kind of lucked out with the character design, since obviously they didn't design the character, but they got to make tons of money on this one because they had to do very little work and just get that check, take it to the bank. Alright guys, I recommend this one, so you should probably track it down. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff, so make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.